that I've seen at this point. But let's get into it, guys. So I am super excited to introduce to you Tim Yates, who has become a friend, a business partner, and so much more. He is an MBA, an LDA, a former TED Talks speaker. He's an entrepreneur, founder of My Legacy Link, which is a California-based legal services platform focused on estate planning and related document services. And so I asked Tim to come on here because, as we are in the real estate space, it's constantly, how do we add value to clients? How do you guys stay sticky, right, and in front of your clients by helping them do more? And how do we use something like with what Tim is talking about to work with probate, to work with this and create another niche for your guys' real estate business? So I am super excited to have Tim on. Tim, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, my friend. I appreciate the opportunity today.
Absolutely. So, I gave a high level overview of some of your most stunning accomplishments, which are awesome and stuff there. Can I ask you, because I love TED Talks and stuff there, what was it like to speak at a TED Talk?
It was an amazing experience. I mean, the first time I did it, sitting in the green room, I was paired up with the CEO. I'm drawing a blank of a big time beer company. And so I was just sitting next to him, and I knew who he was. He didn't know who I was, but I was kind of like, I like a good IPA, I like a good beer, a good beverage now and then. So I knew who he was, and it was just kind of a very surreal moment, just sitting back there and seeing people that I kind of looked up to that achieved business at a very, very high level in different industries. And so, I just at that point I decided, I didn't even really have anything prepared. I told my wife, I said, I'm just going to speak from the heart. I'm going to share my story. I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to connect with people. I'm going to develop relationships with people from the stage as best I can. And then whatever happens, happens. And so I was able to go out there, and I had a blast, and I was asked to do a couple more. And so it was just, an amazing opportunity.
That is wonderful, man. And so how are we going to add some value to this group here today, right? Because I love what you were talking about. You were going to go out there. It was going to be organic, right? You were going to let it flow from the heart. And I think that's, again, what, like with Robert and his 14-day listings, right? When you believe in what you do, right, and you truly feel like it adds value to people, it just comes off so much cleaner. So how are we going to add value to everybody today?
Absolutely, and I'm going to give a shout out to Robert there. Hey, my friend, he's been pivotal in helping me kind of develop some of my ideas and thoughts. Because again, I started out here, and he kind of helped me bring it into here, and now you're going to kind of see the finished product. So, Robert, I appreciate you, my friend, and I'm so grateful for you for helping me kind of deliver the right messaging. Because we live in a world right now. There's so much noise around us, and I knew we had something special. Robert knew we had something special, but it was like, how do we cut through all the stuff that we're all bombarded with? It's, this is not another training. This is not another coaching. This is something unique and different. It absolutely works. It's impactful. And again, thank you, Robert, for helping me, my friend.
Yes.
Absolutely, my pleasure, brother.
Well, why don't you jump into it, man? The floor is yours. Let's add some value to folks and jump into it here.
So everything we're going to talk about truly is about building relationships to a higher level, having real reasons to connect with people, having real conversations. This isn't about a script. This is about, how do I connect with people that I already know? How do I help those people in a way that I've never been able to help them before? And how does it help me build my business? And that's what we're going to really focus on here when we talk about it. So the challenge we all face, I mean, this is really industry. This is not just real estate specific. It could be applicable to any industry we talk about. The challenge is not finding more people. It's about finding reasons to talk to them. Real reasons that are legitimate, not one of those feelings that you're like, hey, I'm going to call up Larry. I haven't talked to him for a long time. I'm really calling up Larry because I want to see if he's thinking about buying or selling, or I'm thinking of, I really want to connect with Larry in a way that comes up more genuine. And so we developed a method intended for everyone to be able to reach out to, starting with the people they know. We're talking family and friends, and how these conversations can lead to more listing opportunities, more buyer opportunities, and such. And so we're going to showcase to you guys exactly what we're talking about here. And you're going to be able to, write some things down, get some really good gold nuggets, hopefully, out of this. And we're just going to go through it one slide at a time. I want the visuals there. A lot of times I do presentations without any slides. Again, I talk from the heart, but I think it's important in these things that you have some kind of visual to reference as I'm talking, and you're able to write some things down. And that's one of the reasons why I have all these slides, which I'm not a big fan of, but I think it's going to help everyone that's watching this right now. So we're going to go right into this and talk about starting conversations other agents aren't having. Because, the thing about it is, what we all want as human beings is we want people to know what we're going through, even if we're very private. My wife and I was talking about, I'm a very private person. I don't really post a lot of things. Maybe people would say that's not good for business or whatever, but I have to challenge myself to open up to the possibility of having conversations that might be uncomfortable to have, but knowing that these conversations can result in something that can actually help me is the key. So to me, it's not about, just calling up people, saying, hey, Larry, how you doing today? What's going on? It's about really getting them to open up to you about what's actually happening in their life. Because when they do that and you're able to do that, that's where the opportunity for you to help them is going to begin. And that's really what it starts off with. So when we look at, let's talk about real estate specifically, because this is a real estate group here. People don't wake up in the morning, every morning thinking I'm going to be buying or selling, A life event is usually what triggers a real estate sale, and the whole point of this is I'm going to help you guys get into someone's life in a way where they're going to be thinking about you before that life event even happens. And the agents that we have seen, that we've worked with over the years developing this program, it's the agents who recognize life events within their SOI early. They're the ones that have the opportunity to help those clients well before a real estate transaction even begins. Because we're not chasing leads. We're not chasing that. We already heard someone's thinking of buying or selling. This is long before that ever happens. So when that thought comes up, your phone's going to ring. They're going to call you. They're not interviewing other agents. They're just calling you because you have become the trusted connector in their lives, and you have become the trusted advisor in their life. And that's what it happens, okay? So life events, you guys, marriage, divorce, having a new baby, aging parents, health concerns. I mean, if you look at the list here, on average, here's a nice little mathematical thing to consider here. If you take 250 people in your database right now, 250, 13% of those 250 are going to experience one of these life events every 12 months. So if you start doing the math on that, you can really start to look at and say, wow, that could be, I'm not going to do math on this right now, but let's just say it's 25 people, 28 people out of 250 are going to experience some kind of life event here. So if you're able to inject yourself into that person's life in a way where they're going to contact you when a life event is going to happen or is starting to happen, you are going to be way ahead of the ball game. You're going to be an untouchable value proposition to that individual's life, and they're not going to be interviewing other agents for that listing. And they're not going to be referring you to anybody else except to you. So it's all about understanding that these life events happen. They happen constantly. And if you start to look at the math and the numbers, it starts to really connect on how you can use these events to trigger these decisions that will benefit you and your business. And obviously, more importantly, it's going to help and benefit that individual, which is what we're shooting for. The other thing to realize too is, and I say this to my team internally all the time, life events are bigger than a transaction, okay? Because the reality of it is this, is I have worked long and hard to get to a point where my phone rings daily and people are calling me up And I would say probably, 50% of my calls aren't monetization calls, meaning that when I get a phone call, it's not instant money for me. It's someone's calling me because they need advice. They need to be connected to somebody. And through that process, it's going to turn into an event that will obviously monetize my business and my life. So when you look at becoming a trusted professional, that changes everything. I mean, I talk to Robert about this all the time. We hear this all the time. Become a trusted advisor, a trusted professional. That's great and all. There's scripts out there. I'm going to show you guys though what I'm talking about, why this is so different and unique than what you are already being exposed to, what you've already been taught. Because again, what we're doing is actually creating results, and that's what I like to see. I like to see the end results and things that are really happening. Okay, so becoming a trusted connector first. You become a trusted connector, and then you become the trusted advisor. But it starts with becoming a trusted connector first, okay? Everyone on this call, I guarantee you guys are the best at being a transaction specialist. You guys do the job great, and that's what you need to do, okay? You may even know where to send people that you can't help them with, but here's the reality of what I have found. It's one thing to be able to get a phone call and say, hey, Tim, I might be going through a divorce, can you refer me a family law attorney? And I can just go like that. That's one thing. But it's a whole other thing if you can actually be involved much deeper in helping solve that client's problem before it happens, during it happens, and well after it happens when it comes to the real estate transaction. Because the reality of that I have seen, you guys, is agents do the transaction, and then they move on, and then they try to stay on top of their database. They try to stay connected to that client, and then things fall through the cracks. Sometimes you do a great job of doing it, sometimes you don't. Then you follow up a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, and you realize that, my God, they used another person to handle their next real estate transaction. What we're going to show you is going to build a moat around your business, and that's not going to happen again. And that's what we want to make sure that is in place. You don't lose clients to other agents in your competition, and we're going to make it really easy for you guys to stay connected to them. Okay, so how do we, my company, this is the thing that I was looking at. How do we help you become the trusted connector first and foremost? Well, what we have done is we've created these marketing campaigns, these conversation starters. Now, I mentioned scripts earlier. I don't like to use the term script either. I just like to use the term connector because to me, a script is kind of robotic. It's something that you all have. You all have scripts, and to me, though, it's about how do I call somebody up and sound different? How do I come at it in an approach where that person's like, wow, I've never heard this before. Nobody's ever asked me that question before. So everything that we have done has been designed around life events that we know are going to happen to you, to me, to everyone that we know or don't know. It's going to happen. So how do we connect to those people though, in a way that gets them to always call us first? How do we become that first phone call? So when we started asking ourselves these questions based around legal services and then real estate services, everything started coming together. And like I said, it's been a wonderful thing for me to see what's happening in my business and my life by my phone ringing every single day. And it's a testament to what I know works now. It's not pie in the sky. It's not hoping this works. It actually works. And I'm going to show you guys some real examples that you're going to be able to take away with you today and apply to your business immediately. So get your pens out and get ready to write some things down or get your laptop or whatever you do to take some notes down on this. Okay, so we have developed a monthly campaign built around life events. Okay. Now, the most common life events that that are out there are people get married, they get divorced. People obviously have all of these things that are happening. One of the things that's really unique, what I love about my business is this: I will work with somebody on one specific thing. I will work with Larry on putting together his estate plan for him and his family. But through that conversation, I also realized that Larry just started up a side business. Okay, great. Now I can help Larry form a limited liability company. And then I also find out, Larry has, so like it's called layering. So I'm basically able to layer 3 or 4 different services on top of one client and help them in one type of ecosystem where they don't have to go outside of that or talk to anybody else. They can stay within that world, that ecosystem. So we have looked at the most common life events that have happened, and it all starts with estate planning. I'm going to talk about that specifically for a moment here, okay? On average, across the United States, most of the time I talk about California specific because estate planning is state specific. So if you get an estate plan in California, it's not the same as an estate plan in Florida. It is state law, it's state specific, so it's important to understand. But let's talk about the numbers that are applicable to your database. Right in the middle, estate planning 101, okay? Basically 11%, only about 11% of the population has a living trust in place. That equates to 9 out of 10 people in your database right now. So everyone that's on this call, if you open up your phone, however you manage your database, 9 out of 10 of those people do not have a living trust in place. Now, here in California, I can tell you, our court system, there are 58 counties in the state of California. If I look at the court calendar for every county, it is backlogged with probate cases. Okay. Now, what is probate? I'll talk probate. Basically, what happens is when someone passes away and they don't have their assets held in a trust, all their assets go into probate, and all their loved ones and their family members have to go through and hire a probate attorney and go through months and years of court proceedings to just get the assets that are rightfully theirs. Okay, so you have to understand now this is just for California, but it's very similar in a lot of other states. But understanding though that you have an opportunity right now to have a conversation with somebody about probably the most important thing that is attached to them. It's protecting their home, it's protecting their family, and it's protecting their assets, all assets. Investment accounts, bank accounts, boats, RVs, motorhomes, all that kind of stuff. Those are assets, things that we have. And you need to have the ability to have a conversation with somebody about protecting those things because it's going to lead directly into real estate conversations. And it's directly tied to it, okay? I have agents out here in California that were door knocking, door hanging flyers and things like that. So we decided to, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's have them start door hanging and door knocking on inviting people to an estate planning 101 webinar. And we knew, oh, Mr. Johnson, we know your home's not in a living trust right now. We want to invite you to a free 30-minute webinar where you're going to learn the ins and outs of why that's important. It's not sales, it's education. Would you like to attend? It's next Tuesday from 6:30 to 7. Can I send you an invite? It changes everything when you're bringing something that it is that important. I mean, you guys, we're in real estate. Doesn't that not blow your mind like it blows my mind that most people that buy homes don't have their homes put in a trust? And then you got to ask yourself the question. I asked myself that question 15 years ago when I'm watching my wife, who's an amazing attorney, one of the best attorneys I've ever worked around. And I'm not just saying it because she's my wife. I watched day in and day out her having consultations with people about their estate plan and hearing these words. Carrie, thank you for the information. This is exactly what I need. I need to, think about this, talk it over. I'll get back to you. Okay, in my mind, I was like listening, going, what's there to talk about? What's there to think about? You have to get this done. You have to get it done. It's not like anything else where you don't really have to get it done. You need to get it done. Okay, I started realizing 2 things. Number one, the price was kind of scaring people away a little bit, sticker shock. But here's the thing you guys got to understand. The average cost for a living trust in California is about $2,500. Now, you can go based on market. I can go up to Cupertino, up in the Bay Area, and the trust would be $5,000, $6,000. I could go to poorer communities, and it could still be $2,000. What happened is, even though people have millions of dollars of assets to protect, they would literally pump the brakes and pause a little bit of saying, yeah, do I really need to spend $5,000 right now, $3,000? I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm good to go, kind of thing. So people justify it. They procrastinate. Procrastination, you guys, is what we're all competing against. So if you think you're competing against your competitors in your market, you're not. You're not competing against anything except procrastination. Procrastination to maybe move forward with that purchase or that sale. You have to understand that once you understand that procrastination is what we're fighting against, then things start to really change, your conversations change, and everything starts to change. So we have developed monthly campaigns that you guys can deploy to your network. I want to say one thing. This is a cool one. We launched a campaign in June. I can't believe we're in August right now, in June. We called it the College Bound and Young Adult Protection Program. Now, Larry mentioned, ASU, right? So my youngest, next week, we're sending her off. We're moving her to Nashville, where she's going to start at Vanderbilt. Freshman year at Vanderbilt. We're moving her into her dorm next week. There are people that are graduate. Every June is graduation month. So we launched a campaign called the College Bound Young Adult Protection Program, which means that most people don't know this. When your child turns 18 in most states, you no longer have the ability to make healthcare decisions for them. We talk about, you guys may work with people that are maybe older, talking about healthcare directives, power of attorney, and things like that. Well, we devised a program specifically for college-bound young adult protection program to educate our sphere of influence about, hey, do you have a child that's 18, 19 years old now going to college? Because God forbid something happens to them, you might not be able to be on the phone with the doctor and make healthcare decisions. You might be powerless to be able to do things like that. Most people aren't aware of that, you guys. So our program gives you the power to create that awareness in a way that's going to be different. Could you imagine if you're posting on Facebook all your listings and you're doing all your real estate transactions and stuff like that? That's great. But could you imagine if, like, every June rolls around, you're posting up things about the Young Adult College Protection Bound program? DM me if you put some facts in there. Did you know your child turns 18 now? You no longer have any power. Did you know blah, 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 blah? It's going to create a different lane for you as a real estate professional. People are going to see that a little differently. We tested it with a couple of agents this year, and it was great because they were getting DMs from people that they never had DMs before from. They haven't heard from these people for a long time. What stood out to them was that they were talking about, hey, congratulations. I just saw that little Timmy just graduated high school and he's going off to college. By the way, did you know? And it changes the conversation. So our monthly campaigns are geared towards life events that gives you guys the ability to have conversations and to market and to put things out there that you've never been able to do before. And this is what's super exciting about this. And all of these things are reflective of numbers. And what I mean by that is this. Did you know every year 5 million new businesses are started every year? 5 million. Did you guys know that right now there are people in your database that might be going through a relationship problem? They might be thinking about divorce. They're already thinking about, what do I do with a home? What do I do about this? They're thinking about starting a business. They're thinking about this and that. Could you imagine now if you were able to have conversations with them before they're even making any decisions? Because one of the things I always talk about too, when I'm talking to somebody specifically about estate planning, I also ask them, by the way, Larry, what do you do for a living? And I say, I do this, and then I also say, hey, do you have any other passions, hobbies that you're turning into a business? Well, as a matter of fact, hey, by the way, just so you know, and if you decide to do that, give me a call. I can help you get a limited liability company set up to make sure it's structured properly. Well, that's cool. That's something completely different. I've become that go-to person. I've become that, hey, I got a guy or I got a gal. We hear that. But this is what makes it for you guys to be able to become that person. I'm giving you the shortcut that I've had to spend the last 10, 15 years creating right to the end result. Okay. So I wanted to stress to you guys, again, this is not another training program. I'm not selling anything, just so you know that. Not at the end, I'm going to say, hey, if you act now, but wait, there's more.
No, and guys, how many of you guys, man, I'm putting some things in the chat, but how many of you guys have clients where their kids are getting ready to graduate high school, going to college? This just separates you from the competition. And all of these life events are things that you guys have clients going in. And this is why I brought Tim on. Literally, he gives all of this stuff away, right? He just wants to add value to you. He doesn't have a program. He can't collect a credit card at this point in time. There's nothing like that. But all of you guys could use his marketing campaigns and duplicate them and I guarantee you add so many more conversations into your life. Sorry, I was typing here as you were talking, and I was like, oh my gosh, guys, like, because everybody, like, school is starting up right now, right? And so all of this is such a relevant topic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so that's why, again, to me, I'm being vulnerable. I'm just telling you, hey, look, this is what we're doing, and so for me, it was never about how do I build something that I can immediately monetize. That was never my approach. My approach was how do I build something that helps people get more connected to each other? Because I honestly, I looked at my own life and I said, hey, look, when it's all said and done, what's the most important thing that we all have? It's relationships. It's never going to be how many homes did I sell in Q2 in 2025, whatever. It's going to be those relationships that matter. And then I realized, through this process, there's always ways for us to figure out ways to maybe put some extra money in our pockets, but it's never been about that and never will be about that. It's about truly helping people help others, just like agents helping agents. It's truly my motivation behind this whole thing, and here's the thing too. I'm going to show you guys, Larry, how good am I on time right now, by the way? Am I almost done? Like, I never even asked you how much time do I get.
So we have about 27 because I do have a hard stop. I'm actually the guest on another mastermind at 11. So I have a hard stop at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. So I would say probably about another 20 to 23 minutes of content, and then we can open up for some Q&A to finish things up.
I won't need that much time even. I mean, I'll probably 10 minutes more. To me, it's about, I want to make an impact. I don't want to lose people. I don't want people to get, So we're going to continue on with this because again, as you can tell, I'm very excited and I get really passionate about this. So here's the other thing too, I want you guys to understand. We're not teaching you to become estate planning professionals. We're not teaching you how to, number one, you never give legal advice, tax advice. You guys already know that. That's always your broker will always hammer you on that. You don't give. But here's what we're doing. We're not going to teach you guys these things, but we're going to help you recognize the opportunity and we're going to help you start the conversation. Because if you start a conversation, you're going to learn through our program recognizing the opportunity that may be coming up. You're going to probably recognize, not probably, you will recognize opportunities before that person that's talking to you even thinks about what they might have to do. So we're going to get you to start the conversation, and then you're going to recognize the opportunity, and then you're going to take it from there, okay? You're going to be able to connect the client to the right resource. And again, the whole key to this thing too, it's not just a handoff, it's a remaining involved in their lives as their trusted advisor. That is the key. Remain in your life. You become that. I got a guy. I got a gal. That is key to this whole thing. Okay, I'm going to give you guys an example of one of the campaigns that it's definitely my favorite thing to do is I call it estate planning 101. I mentioned before the cost of estate plans in California. There's two reasons why very few people get an estate plan or get a living trust, okay? Number one is the cost. A lot of times people will get a price quote and they will pump the brakes and they'll eventually get to it. And guess what happens? The court systems are filled with families that were going to get to it. I'll eventually get to it. They didn't get to it. Here's the other thing too. I need you guys, this is off topic here, it's not, but here's something that we mentioned AI earlier. Here's the one thing that we're seeing in the legal industry that is causing some real problems. Recently, I had a conversation with a friend who's a good friend with the judge up in Ventura County in a probate court. And it was told that they're seeing an increase in probate cases right now, not because people didn't have legal documents in place. It's because people didn't have the right legal documents in place. They are using ChatGPT to create this and that. And I'm telling you guys, we're not there yet. It's not there yet in this industry. You need trained professionals, you need legal document assistants and attorneys that are trained, that know what they're doing. They are the professionals in order to ensure that these documents that you're doing. And here's the reality of it, you guys. When people talk to our team and I, and they realize what we charge for those same processes and those same documents, it becomes a no-brainer to them. But when I went back to this, there's two things that we're focused on. Price is too expensive, and two, people just didn't understand why they needed an estate plan. Because people will think, will, I got a will, I'm good to go. Well, guess what? A will in California doesn't protect your assets, only a trust does. Grandma and grandpa have a will and they have assets, and they don't have a trust. Good luck with that. Now a will in Wisconsin might protect certain assets, but that's Wisconsin. So you have to be really understanding it's state specific, and you got to really understand what that means. So I decided to do two things. Number one, I'm going to make it affordable for everybody. So when they do get that price quote, it's not, ooh, pump the brakes. They're going to be like, what? Wait, what's the catch? What am I missing here? How can this person charge $3,000 and you're charging under $1,000? How does that work? Explain it to them. Explaining number two is education. Why do I need a trust? Why do I need this? Why do I need that? So in a way, a lot of times when people speak to certain attorneys, they get drowned out in legal terminology, and it gets overwhelming. We've dumbed it down to a point where everyone can now understand, why do I need an estate plan? And the simplest way to describe it is this. The last time I checked, Larry, the mortality rate is still 100%.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
That means all of us are eventually going to take our last breath on earth and leave. Okay? Now you have a choice. You can ignore that and take your last breath and leave your family with a complete nightmare where the state determines who gets what and how they get it in a public setting, or you can decide to keep all of your affairs private between you and your family, and the state doesn't get involved and get their hands in it at all. It's your choice. You can try to ignore it. So you want to ask yourself, do I want to leave my family a nightmare, and my legacy is a nightmare of going through probate court hearings, hiring attorneys, losing 4 to 6% of the overall value of the inheritance? I mean, that is a nightmare. But it's your choice, you guys. You can do it that way, or you can keep it private and leave your family a legacy that said, well, I'm so grateful mom, dad, grandma, grandpa had this organized, for us. We can now focus on actually mourning the loss versus taking phone calls from an attorneys and figuring out court dates and fees and all that other stuff. So why do people need an estate plan? That's the reason why. That's a lot better than saying, well, the reason why you should have an estate plan is because under this provision of the state code probate situation and people are like, what does that even mean? That's what it means. It's gonna help you and your family or not help you and your family. It's your choice. So I created an estate planning webinar series where it's a 30-minute one-on-one series where I'd like to partner up with a real estate professional and make you the host, and I'm your co-host guest. And basically what you do is you invite your family, your friends, your SOI, you could even, market to your farm, and just invite them to a Tuesday night from 6:30 to 7, 30-minute webinar where they're going to learn the ins and outs of estate planning in a very safe, caring, loving, nurturing environment. There's no hard selling. It's just education and information. What they do with it after that, it's up to them. And I tell people that all the time. Hey, Larry, I appreciate the conversation, my friend. I hope I gave you everything you need to make an informed decision for you and your family. And the only thing I ask, Larry, is this, is if you decide, not to use me for your estate plan, that is completely okay. I'm totally fine with that. But you got to promise me one thing, my friend. The one thing you're going to promise me is that you're going to get this done no matter what. You're not going to procrastinate. You're going to make that phone call. You're going to get this transaction going. You're going to get it done for the benefit of you and your family. And that's my sincere, honest approach, is that don't use me. I don't care. But you got to get it done. And I'm going to harp on you to get it done, because I see the after effects of what happens to people that don't get it done. It's an absolute disaster. It's a nightmare. So I love to do these webinars. And again, it's a great way to reach out and provide something of value to people that are different. Again, I had an agent up in Seal Beach, which is up near Long Beach here, door hanged their 350 home market farm, and just advertised, hey, show up for this webinar. Got great attendance, got great results. Picked up a couple listings, got their foot in the door because it was something different, you guys. It wasn't just another real estate thing. It was, I'm going to give you something that's so valuable that you and your family are going to want to come to it. And then you're going to invite people to the next one because they're going to have such a great experience. We're going to now schedule another one for the next quarter. And then I'm going to encourage you to invite your family and friends and so on and so on and so on. And speaking of that, when you talk about like compounding interest on bank accounts and money, I talk about compounding interest on your database, because here's the reality of it. Every person on planet Earth is connected to roughly 250 people. Okay. So my goal is this. When I look at Larry, I see the number 250 on his forehead, because I know Larry's got at least 250 people that I would love to get connected to. So what I need to do, though, is I need to win Larry over with value, so then he opens up his gate to his 250 to me, because he's now bringing value to them, and then we're bringing value together, and then that person has 250, and it's the compounding snowball effect of building your database in a different way, a way that actually connects with people, in a way that people want to hear from you. No longer are they going to see your name pop up and I'm like, oh God, it's Robert again. What is Robert? Robert, I'm sure he wants me to just go drink beer and play golf all day. That's horrible. That I like those calls, by the way. No, but in all seriousness, that it's Robert again. I know he's going to ask me, am I thinking of buying or selling? So no. And say, hey, Robert, he's got something of value. I'm going to answer this call because I have no idea what Robert's going to bring to me this time. So I'm excited to do that. So hosting these estate planning 101 webinars are super powerful, super impactful. And it's something that is part of our program that, all of our agents have access to. Another campaign that we do a lot of, unfortunately, is going back to the numbers, is the divorce rate. Obviously, I know there's a lot of agents that, can specialize in this area. You could develop relationships with family law attorneys, and you can develop hopefully a good referral network going back and forth. And that's a great service. The reality of it, though, is that when we looked at this too, we also realized that, the average cost, for a divorce in San Diego, I'm in San Diego, Robert's in San Diego. The average cost for a divorce in San Diego is about $30,000. Okay. So what happens is unfortunately, as you guys know, is when a divorce happens, the only person or the people that win in a divorce are the attorneys. Let's be honest. Let's have honest conversations about this. And again, there's no incentive to settle cases, because you want to keep it going on. The longer to keep it going on, the more billing happens, the more money they make, and et cetera, et cetera. So when you live in certain states like California's a community property state, there are ways to solve this through what we call uncontested divorce filings, where again, you are not going to spend a lot of money. So imagine, would you rather spend $30,000 to get away from that person, or would you rather spend less than $5,000 to get away from that person? I mean, and not be going through court hearings and years of things like that. So again, another example of bringing education to people and understanding there's other options for them. It's not just making that phone call or posting it up to, on Facebook. Anybody know a good family law attorney? I mean, every day I'll open up Facebook and I'll see someone posting something like that. Well, I already know what's going on then. It's either the agents going through it themselves, or it's a client. And sometimes it's both, So again, it's just one of those things of developing campaigns around the numbers. 11% of the population, only 11% have a living trust. The divorce rate, unfortunately, you guys, is continuing to climb, and specifically in neighborhoods. I talked to an agent yesterday who works in a specific area in Riverside County, and she said to me, she goes, Tim, are you guys promoting the divorce services up here? And I'm like, well, why? She's like, I don't know what's going on, but everyone in my community right now is getting a divorce. She's like, she's part of the HOA. She's involved in the community. She knows everything. And she's like, I don't know what's in the water, but everybody's getting a divorce. So again, it's unfortunate, but the numbers are the numbers, and they tell a story, and that's why we want to help them. Okay. So the other thing too is I mentioned the young adult college bound thing for healthcare directives and power of attorney. Now, most people they think about, oh yeah, my aging parents, do they have healthcare directives? Well, here's the thing you guys got to understand about healthcare directives too. When COVID hit, our hospitals were inundated, as you guys know, right? No one had healthcare directives. People were separated from their families. They weren't able to help give medical advice or whatever they wanted to do to advocate. Larry? Oh yeah.
5 minutes.
Okay, good, good. I'm 2 minutes and we're done. Um, so again, healthcare directives, super, super important to understand that we all need those things. The first thing they're going to ask you, God forbid, if you're ever admitted to the emergency room or anything like that, hey, do you have healthcare directives? It's one of the first questions they ask. So again, understanding that it's another way to talk to people about things that are important to them. You have people in your database that have aging parents. Hey, ask them, hey, by the way, does your mom, have a healthcare directive set up? Super important. Oh, that's a good question. I'm not really sure. Maybe I should ask. Let's ask. Let's help them with that process. Okay. Last but not least, our network. What makes our network different, you guys, is this. You may have relationships, and Robert and I talked about this. Robert did a great job. He has relationships with a lot of attorneys and things like that, and that's great. I'm not saying don't have those relationships. Those are important. But I do want you guys to understand that what makes it different for us too, though, is that we have recruited a network of attorneys that have signed financial pledges with us to make sure that we make our services the most affordable services in the market, no matter what. So if you look at it from an hourly billing rate, there's a big difference between paying an attorney $500 an hour versus $150 an hour, and you're getting the same level of high level services. So understanding that everything we're doing is bringing in value, we're recruiting the people that have that heart of gold that want to help people. There's good and bad in every industry, but I'm telling you, our team is amazing. They care first and foremost. They're like me. Last thing, you guys, this is it. If you're interested in what I presented, you want to learn more, just pull out your phone, scan a QR code, and basically all we're going to do is I'm just going to collect your name, your email, your phone number, and your industry, and I'd love to have a conversation with you, share with you, give you access to all of our marketing materials. Like I said, there's nothing here I'm doing. I'm not selling anything. It's just pull your phone out. Don't hesitate. Get signed up. You're going to have access to these things. And every week, every Wednesday from 10 to 11, I teach a class called the Legacy Room. And I do live teachings and I record them too. So if you're a part of our network, you can go into our library and watch videos of different topics. If you want to launch a certain campaign that's near and dear to your heart, you can learn how to do that. Off we go. And that's it. And Larry, thank you, my friend.
Absolutely. And so, guys, I hope that there was nuggets that you guys can take from this that you can apply to your business tomorrow, right? The second part is the only way that Tim makes money is if he helps you add more value to your clients. And right now, it just has to be in California because you guys, I know that you guys have plans on expanding your network national, but right now it's only in California. A lot of you guys aren't in California. You can use those same scripts, those same techniques, etc. You guys might have to build your own network of professionals and stuff that you can refer people to, but it's still great content. It's reasons to get in front of your clients. And this is where I thought it added so much value to everybody. Everybody in your database should have one of these campaigns set up. I know a lot of you guys have CRMs in place. You could build out a 12-month campaign by just copying, pasting, copying, pasting, copying, pasting, and like put your clients on it and watch the amount of people that start responding to you. Like set up a system that starts generating and staying in front of your clients, because just like all of your clients, you guys have life events that happen to you as well. You guys get distracted, and if you don't set up a system that automatically does this, it's not going to produce the results and stuff that you're looking for. Tim, that was amazing, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing. Guys, is there any questions, comments, concerns, or anything while we have Tim on the call here today?
Well, Larry, you know what? I'd like to jump in because Tim has been a remarkable resource for me, and that's what it is. When you have the mentality of I got a guy or gal, meaning you're the first call they make for any kind of thing, because a lot of the life events that Tim mentioned triggers real estate sales, but there's a lot of steps that happen before that. And if we can get in the conversation in the beginning, is much better than getting in at the end, because most attorneys have their own agent referral network. If I can keep everybody under my moat, like Tim used, I like building a moat around my business. That is the only way to do it. And the 9 and 10, Tim, that's an amazing number of people that do not have a living trust. What an excellent opportunity to reach out to our database and just have a simple conversation. I love it. Tim, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you.
Well, Robert, again, I appreciate you. You did help me shape the idea of launching campaigns, of taking all the stuff I'm excited about and saying, break it up into bits and pieces and create campaigns so the agents can understand better how this can be applicable. Plug and play. So I give you all the credit for that, my friend. I
Yeah,
appreciate you so much.
you're awesome.
Beautiful. Guys, any other questions? I see here that people are asking if you can put the QR code back up, but I'm going to do one better. I'm actually going to post the link in the chat for you guys, so you don't even have to take a picture. You can just click that link directly. And Kathy is also listening to this, and she's going to put that in the YouTube description as well, so people can click on that are watching the rerun as well.
Awesome.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, guys? Man, Tim, crushed it, my friend. I love what you are doing. I think that you add so much value to real estate agents just by giving them something plug and play. Like, from the start. I think this is something that new agents, experienced agents, like agents that want, like anybody can use this and add value to their clients. And that's what I think that we're in the business of right now. So Tim, I appreciate you so much, my friend, for jumping on here this morning. Guys, this will be posted on our YouTube channel a little bit later today with everything in case you missed it, in case you want to watch it. Please feel free, connect, get some time with Tim, get into his program and stuff there so that way you can duplicate some of these things. And if you guys need anything from me, call, text, or email me. I appreciate you guys so much, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you.